Because just about every township in the county gets some utility tax. And those that have the substations, the bigger stuff, it's all based on book value of that infrastructure. But it's infrastructure that's owned by a public utility. Where I don't think that this project is going to be owned by a public utility. And therefore, it won't come into the utility tax thing. So they won't be paying into the fund, and we won't be getting out of the fund. That's what I think. But I think those substations and the lines that are existing, they're all book valuing something. Because there's nothing else that explains why just about every township in the county gets some utility tax. It all comes down to where Jerm&K reports this. Whatever general ledger code they're using to report it on some report down to either Department of Revenue or Public Service Commission, and as a public utility. And I think, I haven't done enough reading on it to know for sure, but these transmission companies that come in like this, they build them, and they're guaranteed such a rate of return on their investment, and they're not a public utility.
Jerry, do you know if a dwelling needs to be moved, who that expense would be on?
Say that again?
If a house or a barn or something has to be moved, do you know who pays for that?
That's a lawyer question.
Okay.
But I would say this, right? If they're going to take the easement and it's going to go through, right? They have to compensate. That's where the term just compensation comes in, right? What is just compensation? To them it's going to be $10, to you it's going to be $1,000, or whatever that number looks like. And that's where the fight's going to come in. If you have to move your barn, let's say, then they would have to pay for that at some level. But I don't know that they would pay more to move it than they would pay just to buy it and tear it down, right? They're going to do the cheapest thing that they can. But that's a lawyer question. I just know that if they're going to do these easements, and if they're going to do eminent domains, they have to pay just compensation. And what does just compensation mean? That's what you hire a lawyer to find out. Because I will guarantee you, your idea of just compensation is going to be a lot different than theirs.
What is the board's opinion on this?
But that wouldn't be what this lawyer is about, right? That's another step down the road. This is about, we don't need a lawyer that knows how to do it.
I don't think he heard you.
What's the board's opinion on this? Since they represent us, I want to know what they feel about it.
Well, I guess if you're asking, or how do I say this? It was kind of asked to me, and I feel I'm here. If a bunch of you guys are against it, I'm here to vote with you guys.
Have a show of hands.
So I'm opposed to the line, but I mean, how much do we want to spend on it? Does anybody have I have no idea what it would cost for an attorney, but I'm opposed to the line with everybody. I'm okay with getting an attorney, but do we put a cap on it, or do we, like Nate says, just keep spending until we beat it or lose, or, I mean, what do you guys think on that?
Well, I think before you retain an attorney, he'd give you a good idea. He'd give you a ballpark figure of what each step might cost. So you'd know then, and then you can make that decision. But
Do you guys have do you know what it's gonna cost for the primary route? You guys have an attorney to fight it?
we don't have a ballpark figure from him.
You don't, okay.
It's impossible to do at this stage,
It's going to affect the Amish too, or do they have a say about anything, or do they even know what's going on?
There are Amish in our in the main group that are interested and part of the group. They're opposed to it, willing to fight for it, willing to pay to fight for it.
I know the county is taking a similar stance at this point. They currently are trying to, Vernon, Crawford, and Richland, the three corporate councils getting together to strategize and then try to come back with, you know, hiring an expert lawyer, a good lawyer, because our corp councils aren't, well, some of them might be, but they're not the one you want to hire for this, right?
No, you want
But they're gonna try to come back with a proposal to the county board about moving forward. There's already been talk about the uniqueness of multiple areas, like 3 counties going together. You know, maybe the answer here is to approach the county to see if you could just join in on their thing. If you're all trying to fight the same thing, what difference would it make? I don't know. But I don't know any more about it than that. I just know that they're trying to meet, to discuss it, and then go from there. Now, maybe next month we'll have an answer at the next general government committee meeting? I don't know.
When is that, the date?
Well, the Gen Gov meets on I think it's the first Wednesday of the month. But I don't know that there's anything scheduled to be talked about then. I just know that they're moving towards something.
Hey, well, what's your guys' max then? If you guys are worried about the price?
Well, that's, I mean, how far do you guys, what's your guys'
Well, you guys are the ones saying you gotta have, you don't wanna overpay, so. It's gotta be a point where you guys say that's enough. So what is it? Me, it don't matter. I don't care what it costs.
At this time, I have no idea, I don't have a max, I guess, 'cause I don't know the first thing, how much it come in, I'm sure it's not gonna come cheap.
I mean, I'll say, you know, our coalition, like Al said, we don't have a price, but we're moving forward. Because we know what's gonna happen if we do nothing. We know what's gonna happen if we do nothing. We don't have a price, but we're moving forward. And that's what we're asking our town board to do.
So right there's your answer.
But if, it's privy to you as far as putting a number on it. That's what I say. I made the motion, I didn't put a number on it. I mean, I respect the town board's decision as far as financially, but you know, me personally, I've been bringing this up since November. It's taken a lot to get to this point.
I think you need to take the step to hire an attorney, get him in, interview him, find out what he says, and break it down. The first